Hey everyone, this is Christian Henning with GetGolfFit.com, and I am here with Michael Skogg, author, educator, and one of the foremost experts on kettlebell training in the world. He is also a creator of the Skogg method. I'm going to let Michael explain a little bit about his background, his programs, and also his brand new virtual Skogg.com website that lets you train with him from anywhere in the world. And then we'll go into asking him about his ideas on exercise and focus on how golfers can use kettlebells to improve their game. Michael, welcome to the call, and please tell us more about yourself and your training philosophy.
Well, thanks for having me. I've been swinging kettlebells for, over 25 years now. And I've always been a workout guy. When I learned, I was in the military. I was stationed in Scotland. I was in a security task force out there, and a part of our day-to-day routine was staying fit. So a workout program was part of the process. And I was lucky enough to have a Highland Games competitor as a neighbor. I used to watch this guy. He'd throw logs and he'd swing kettlebells and he'd carry rocks and he'd do just all this unconventional training, and it didn't make sense to me. Coming up in the fitness world to that point, I thought all you did was you lifted weights, or you ran, or you got on a bicycle, or you swam laps. So seeing odd loads being picked up and carried and moved around really intrigued me. So one day, my curiosity got the best of me, and I asked him what he was up to, what he was about, and that's when I got my first taste of what it was like to swing a kettlebell. And this guy was a big man. He was 6'5", 6'6", well over 300 pounds, and he was just a big, powerful man. And at 18 years old, I wanted to be like him. So
right.
I started swinging his bell. He had a 70-pounder, which is certainly not a beginner's bell, but I was bound and determined to figure it out, whether it broke me or made me better. And fortunately, it didn't break me. So I took what I learned from him and I plugged it into my own knowledge base. I was a combat medic, so I knew quite a bit about the human body and biomechanics as well. And I hit the drawing board and started creating a workout program. And the kettlebell has been really foundational for me ever since then. And I was 18 years old. I'm 46 now, and I've been swinging a bell ever since.
Wow, and I'm 42 right now, and I just discovered the kettlebell about 3 years ago, and it's been a kind of a love affair of mine since then. So I understand completely. As golfers, we're always looking for an edge, and I know you're involved with athletes at a high level. Can you tell us more about your involvement with the NCAA and athletic performance in general?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a strength coach. I work with a lot of Division I NCAA colleges, and as a matter of fact, I just got back from Hawaii. The University of Hawaii had me come out and run a strength clinic for all the coaches on the islands there. So I had 85 coaches learning the Skogg method. Prior to that, I've run over 20 colleges through my program, a few of them being Penn State, University of Texas, Auburn, Princeton, Wake Forest. It's a pretty long list.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is in the NCAA, I'm the go-to guy when it comes to kettlebells. And it's been a challenge because that's a good old boy club filled with a lot of old schoolers. And this kettlebell thing, is new to them, even though it's been around for centuries. So trying to get them to embrace something that was something other than the deadlift or the bench press, it's been a challenge. But if you're an athlete or a coach, all you got to do is put that bell in your hand and go through a few athletic movements, some of my favorites, and you can watch the eyes light up. The light goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Once I get that aha moment, it's pretty easy from that point on. But I've been working with athletes for a long time, and I found that there really isn't any better tool to get the whole body working as one unit than a kettlebell.
Right, and it's funny that you say that because I played football in college, and I still have my log books from the workouts, and it looked like we were training for the Mr. Olympia instead of football. And I look back today, and I almost laugh at how much better the training and the knowledge is. But the kettlebell, like you said, is an ancient tool that's been around all along, and it's just been kind of ignored. And recently, just starting to find some favor. But yeah, I can remember doing bench presses and just exercises that you don't think really have anything to do with football. So I kind of know where you're coming from on that. Can you explain how you developed the Skogg method and what the Skogg method is? Yeah,
absolutely. I'm no stranger to the bench press or the deadlift. In fact, I'm a former Olympic lifter, and I've done lots of powerlifting and weightlifting in the past. And in the process, I really did a number on my shoulders and my hips. So, to reclaim my exercise youth, I just had to pour my efforts into something, and that was kettlebell training. It actually saved my shoulders. I have a rehab background, and I've fixed more shoulders and low backs with kettlebells than any other tool. So with that in mind, I put together a workout program that had corrective exercise as its foundation. So a lot of my people were coming to me to improve their performance, and in the process they were erasing old injuries, and they didn't even know it until you had that moment where you're like, oh wow, my back doesn't hurt, and it's really that sudden. It's re-educating your body to move as one unit instead of breaking it up into isolated movements. So when I developed the Skogg method, after putting my corrective foundation in place, I started to look at it as an athlete's program. So I came up with a 3-day rotation. 1 day is conditioning, 1 day is strength training, and 1 day is power development. So I run through those 3 days in my workout week, and that keeps me or anybody else doing the program from overtraining or getting injured, and it also keeps them moving forward. Hitting plateaus doesn't seem to occur with this kind of 3-day rotation.
Yeah, and I've done the DVD system. I think I found it on your website, ScoggKettlebell.com, and I've done the entire program on that, and then I moved into the virtual Skogg. And I was wondering, what are the differences between the DVDs and the virtual, if any?
Well, now I have a couple DVDs out. One of them is Skogg System. Skogg System is a 5 DVD group, and it is really put together for those that have never done kettlebells before. It's all about technique, so I guess you could say it's a little more remedial than, say, virtual Skogg. So I would recommend anybody, if they're getting into this for the first time, or if they've been sedentary up until now, to go about it using the Skogg system first, and then you work your way through the program, through either virtual or the Phase 1 and Phase 2, the at-home DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get to the Phase 1 and Phase 2 in the virtual, you'll notice that the exercise catalog has increased substantially, and it gets more and more challenging.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what I really enjoy about it is the challenge of it, and doing a lot of these new. One of the things I've had trouble with is the figure eights.
Yeah.
That one's been pretty difficult to learn, that one. So what is your personal favorite kettlebell exercise?
I'm a huge fan of double queens and the snatch, and those two moves really they really speak to me as a former Olympic lifter. I can do cleans with two kettlebells, and I don't injure my elbows, my wrists, or my shoulders, and also my feet don't get sore. I don't know if you're an Olympic lifter, but there's a lot of explosive power derived from that heel stomp when you're using a barbell. Well, with a kettlebell, you don't need to do that because your arms naturally rotate every time you drop that bell into a swinging position. So those are my two go-tos. I love them all, but if I could only do two moves, it's double cleans and snatches.
Okay. And I've noticed in a lot of your online classes, there's a lot of unique flexibility and mobility training that I've not really seen around. And I was just curious if you could pick one stretch for golfers to perform daily, what would that be?
Yeah, absolutely. There's an exercise that it's really an active stretch more than anything. It's called a windmill. I don't know if you're familiar with that one, but it doesn't require a lot of weight, so the bell can be fairly small. And what you do, if you're a yoga person, it's the warrior pose. Okay. What you do is you end up stretching the obliques, the low back, the hamstrings, the glutes, and the lats, and if you get nice and flexible in those areas, your rotational power really shows.
Okay. And, everything that you've talked about, the conditioning, the strength, and the power, that falls in line perfectly for golfers. And, can you explain how kettlebells could be used to help golfers with each one of these, balance, flexibility, strength, power?
Yeah, absolutely. When you swing a bell, it's as close as you're going to get to live play without having an opponent. So what I'm trying to explain is when you get that bell moving out in front of you, you become the counterbalance for that bell. And you have to lean and adjust your body and move around it, and your center always changes. What happens is your timing develops at the same time. So you almost enter into a dance with your bell. It's very smooth and graceful, yet it's explosive. So as a strength coach, one thing that I really push is if you want to be fast, if you want to be powerful, you got to train fast. You got to train powerful. Doing those grinding exercises like deadlifts or a squat, there's really no speed. There's no power component in there. It's strength building, and there's a lot more to being an athlete and being fit than just being strong. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the one thing when I first started to learn the kettlebell was I was trying to muscle it around, and what I learned was there's a certain finesse, very similar to a golf swing. If you try to muscle a golf swing, you're not going to get a very good result. And same thing with the kettlebell. The finesse aspect of kettlebells brought me to it as well. And, as my form improved, I discovered that my weight could go up substantially on the bells. I've noticed in just doing your classes online that there's not a lot of sit-ups or crunches or things like that in your system. Can you explain why that is?
Sure. I think as workout people, we're all kind of programmed to throw abs in at some point in our workout week or even in our workout day. When you swing a bell, you're really connecting your body from your heels to your hands. So you don't have that dead zone at the middle or the waistline. I like to call that the equator. The abs are active the entire time. The moves are derived from the hips. So your primary movement is coming from your midsection. So the abs have to brace, they have to stabilize, and you have to use them, especially if you're doing any kind of rotational movement. The abs play a big part in stability. So I tell people, hey, you want abs? You're doing abs on your feet. It's rare that we get on the ground and, like you say, do crunches. Sometimes people request that in class because that's just what they've drawn or what they're accustomed to in their workout history, and that's fine. I mean, we can ab the hell out of you at the end of the class if you really want it.
Right.
But honestly, you get a lot of abs just swinging bells.
I can attest to that completely, and it almost feels like that your abs are worked deeper, if that makes any sense, as opposed to just doing a crunch.
Yeah.
It's a different feeling, and it's you almost feel bulletproof after a while after doing a lot of kettlebell work.
Yeah, agreed.
And I know a lot of my readers and customers and clients, kettlebells are going to be new to them, and they're going to be emailing me and Facebooking me and asking me, okay, kettlebells, great, I want to start using one. What weight should they begin with?
Well, now typically you're going to find bells in a metric measurement. So when you go to buy bells, you're going to buy them in kilograms. So I would say that the average woman should start out with an 8-kilogram bell, which is roughly 17 pounds, 18 pounds. A good place for a man to start would be 12 kilograms, which is right around 26 pounds. Now, it'll seem a little daunting when you pick that bell up for the first time, and it's going to feel like 25 pounds in your hand. And to curl something like that takes a little bit of muscle, a little bit of athleticism as well. But once you start swinging that thing, and it's at the end of your arm, it's a force that you can easily counterbalance with the movement of your body. So I tell people, don't be dissuaded by the bell size. Your body's going to adapt very quickly to it. If people go a little lighter than that, that's fine. But unfortunately, you may only use that lighter bell for a couple minutes, and then it becomes a doorstop. It doesn't get used anymore. And they're not cheap. So I would tell people exactly that. Women, 8 kilogram, men, 12 kilogram.
Yeah, I can attest to that because I think I started out with a 35-pounder, and I lift it now, and I almost laugh at how light it feels to me.
Yeah.
When I'm doing a get-up or a swing or anything like that, it's almost like a warm-up. But I remember when I first started out, I could feel the weight. It wasn't light at all to me. So another question that I'm going to be getting, and I actually get this question quite a bit, is what is the best kettlebell exercise for golfers?
Well, I can narrow that down to two exercises that are going to be real obvious to any of your listeners once they get their feet wet swinging bells. One is a figure 8 with a hold, and the other one is a circle clean. Now, they're both rotational movements and require a lot of follow-through, a lot of turning at the trunk. So, and there's a lot of timing involved as well.
Yes.
So you do the move, the light goes on. Now I see the application. So the figure eight with a hold and the circle clean are probably the two most popular exercises here in my gym by the people that golf here.
Okay, great. And I know a lot of people that listen, they like to add in some of the exercises that I suggest to their existing workouts.
Uh-huh.
And I was curious if you could design maybe a quick circuit of kettlebell training for them, and then maybe I could film a demonstration of this after this call.
Yeah, you bet. I'm the kind of guy that likes to keep it simple. So I'm going to give you two workout routines that are only two exercises deep in both of them. They're short and sweet, but they're very effective. One is it's a 2-minute round. You'll perform each move 30 seconds, and then you'll rest for a minute at the end, and you'll repeat that 4 times. It's a snatch for 30 seconds on one side, a figure eight with a hold for 30 seconds, and then you'll switch hands and snatch 30 seconds on the other side, and then back to a figure eight with a hold. And I really like that because I'm working two different planes when I do those two exercises. Also, two different force drivers. With my snatch, I'm coming linear and out of the floor, and with my figure eight with a hold, it's all rotational. So I'm using two complementary movements so I don't overtrain one area in my body. And the snatch, powerful, explosive. Power is fast and strong, and fast and strong is as an athlete is what we're all seeking. And then that rotational movement is great for building your flexibility and your timing. The second is a circle clean with a pop-up. Again, same format, 2-minute rounds, 30 seconds each one, rest a minute after. The circle clean, timing, rotational exercise, great exercise. It's a little tricky to polish that one, but once it comes, you'll never forget it. And then the pop-up is pulling that bell from a stationary position onto the floor, and you're basically doing a triple extension, and you're pulling that bell straight up to chest level, and it's explosive. It's dynamic. So I've got a nice grinding movement with my circle clean, working flexibility, and then I've got my explosive movement. And again, I'm working two different force patterns. So it's those two workouts, very, very effective for a golfer.
Okay, and on the pop-up, do they take that into the rack position, or do they just lower it straight back down?
Lower it straight down, yeah. In fact, when I pop that, have you done a pop-up?
I have not done the pop-up.
Okay. I'm trying to think if I have it on my YouTube channel. I might have a clip on the Skogg YouTube channel. But a pop-up, you place that bell between your feet, you bend your knees, you keep the back flat and the chest out, eyes on the horizon. You grab that handle and then you extend as fast as you can. You drive those hips forward and you drive the hip lockout and you pull up with the hands and really drive with the elbows at the same time. You release the bell handle, the hands fall around to the bell body, and you're holding it at chest level. Then you just drop it, re-grab that bell handle, set it down, and prepare yourself for the next one. And between each rep, you coil your body like a spring, so you stay nice and tense the entire time and explode. So every rep is fast, hard, and excellent.
That's awesome. And that's a single-handed movement?
No, that's a two-hand movement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good stuff. And, where can my readers learn more about you and your online classes?
If you Google me, you'll find a lot of stuff. But what you can do is you can come to our website. I have a decent bio on our website. In fact, we just rebuilt our website, and it's pretty nice. It's pretty user-friendly. But there's a lot of information out there about me, and I have quite a few quite a few videos on YouTube as well, on the Skogg channel. In fact, you can view a free workout from the virtual Skogg program. It's a good one. There's a lot of push-ups in it. I happen to be a big fan of push-ups.
Yeah.
As you'll soon learn if you pursue this. But it's a good one, and I would recommend anybody give it a go. It's about 30 minutes long, and it's certainly well worth the time.
Okay, and I get this question all the time. This is kind of off the cuff, but a lot of people equate sweat equity to getting results, and I've noticed in some of the online classes that I'm not super exhausted after the workout, but I can definitely tell that I've gotten a good workout, and it's I understand the point of the workout, but I get a lot of people asking after they perform some of my workouts, they don't feel exhausted. There's almost a belief that they need to be laying on the floor in a pool of sweat to have gotten a good workout. I was just curious your thoughts, because most of your workouts are anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes long.
Yeah. I'm really about efficiency. I certainly like volume. I like lifting big weight and lifting it for high repetitions when it's appropriate. But really what I'm more about is mindful movement. And if I beat you up every day, just like CrossFit does, sorry to throw that out there, but I feel the need to do so. If I beat you up like CrossFit does every day, the chances of you developing an injury from my program goes up. Right. So if you follow along, like on virtual, for instance, you go from workout 1 to workout 70, you're going to see a progression. You're also going to watch a peak and a valley effect. So one day may be a real butt kicker, and tomorrow might be more of a movement and an active recovery day. Well, that's by design. Believe me, you're getting what you need for the day, but you're also getting what you need that you may not request, and that is a little more recovery time built into the program.
Awesome. And yeah, I agree completely with that. I've had a few people write in and ask me my thoughts on the CrossFit, and it's just I don't see it working with golf very well. But your virtual Skogg, I've seen the path in there. I've actually done it, so I understand completely from what you're talking about. And anytime you do an intense exercise, your body does need some recovery time. And I want to thank you today for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to us. And and finally, after having training thousands of people, are there any other tips you want to share that we didn't cover?
Well, I think the obvious is technique. You nailed it already earlier in the interview. Technique is crucial. You don't do this, you don't swing bells or run my program with your ego at the forefront. I would rather you move a smaller bell with excellence than move a big bell and show poor form. So I'm really a Nazi when it comes to form and technique. Trust me, the strength will come, the volume will come, as you stated as well. With good technique and good form, the body adapts. It makes changes, and you get strong.
Yeah, and it drives me crazy when I go to the gym and I see people doing all kinds of funky swings. I want to go over and talk to them about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think they're going to hurt themselves. But anyway, I appreciate your call today, and we'll get this interview out and online, and really just appreciate your wisdom and your advice and taking the time out of the day to speak to us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you, sir. You have a good day.
All right. Enjoy your day.